we have the Ola Electric management that's first up on the show. The company reported a weakish set of numbers, but they have guided for better times ahead with the new launches as well as their focus on backward integration. To help us out with that, we're joined by Bhavish Aggarwal, the CMD of Ola Electric. Hi, Bhavish. Good day. Always good to have you on the show. Well, in terms of profitability, you still seem to be lacking. The other expenditure had popped up, but you have mentioned that there are a couple of one-offs in there, whether it's with regard to the warranty issues and other issues. The point is that you're saying that once you hit 50,000 units, you'll break even. Could you tell us by when do you expect to break even? Which quarter does this happen? At present, doing close to around 28,000 or thereabouts on a monthly basis. Please go ahead.
Nigel, always wonderful speaking with you and good to be on your show. Q3 was an important quarter. It was in a way the start of a turnaround in terms of scale for us. Competitive intensity has grown a lot in the last couple of quarters. But towards the end of Q3 and in January, we've actually turned around from the service issues we faced, etc., to a much stronger, again, we reclaimed our market leadership position in January. And our gross margin, which in Q3 was about 20.8%, actually expanded to about 26% in January. So there are a few key themes that I want to share with your viewers. Firstly, we have completed the network expansion. We've gone to about 4,000 stores. And this has also helped us put the service challenges of capacity and all behind us. There were some one-off costs we had to book in the last quarter on the account of service and giving goodwill service to all customers that had issues. Now that is behind us. So looking ahead with the higher store count, better service, we are seeing tailwinds in our volumes already. Number two, we've also launched two new products. Firstly, the Gen 3 scooters, which have already been launched, are getting delivered this month to customers. There's very strong interest in customers, and these actually reset the technology advancement in two-wheelers to the next level. And in addition, the biggest launch, which actually happened just last week for us, was the motorbikes. And motorbikes are going to be delivered next month onwards to customers. It opens up a completely new segment to electrification in India, and you can see the motorbikes on your screen. Our own belief is motorbikes are going to be even bigger than scooter electrification in India.
Bhavish, we see those visuals and we hear from you on the launch also, and we've heard some aggressive commentary coming in from you on the market share front itself. It still doesn't answer a couple of questions that we earlier posed. One is, when do you hit the 50,000 vehicles per month mark? And secondly, if you could also give us a sense of what the bookings data of your third generation scooters and motorcycles have been. So when they start delivery, we'll start to see that in your revenue as well.
Absolutely. So in terms of costs, we have a gross margin expansion that we are undergoing. And you saw that even last quarter, despite lower revenue, our gross margin actually expanded. And in January, that expanded further to 26%. And we are guiding that gross margin will continue to expand because Gen 3 is coming in February onwards. So gross margin expansion should continue quarter on quarter for the next few quarters. Number two, on operating expenses also, we've actually been able to control operating expenses with removing the exceptional costs, so one-time cost that we had last quarter. OPEX is actually trending downwards. And for the course of this year also, it will be largely flat or trending downwards with increased volumes. Now, 50,000 is the mark where we actually break even in EBITDA. And, we're not putting a timeline to it, but let's say in the next few months, we do feel confident we will get there with both Gen 3 and motorbikes. So we do feel confident with our expanded stores, Gen 3 motorbikes. 50,000 should be probably in 4 to 6 months.
In that 50,000, how much would the contribution of Gen 3 and motorbikes be? You're currently doing about 25, 28. So should we assume that Gen 3 and motorbikes would account for about 20, 22,000 additional units per month?
Absolutely. See, motorbikes open up a 2x market size compared to scooters. And as our motorbikes come into the market, customers already have a lot of excitement. So we should see next quarter onwards the motorcycle volume uplift in our monthly Vahan numbers also. Another important point that happened in this quarter and that will play out over the next 6 months is our own 4680 Bharat Cell integration into our products. Now, the company is on track to commercially produce in our Gigafactory in the next quarter. And we've already now launched products, one on the Gen 3, the scooter, as well as the motorbike products with our 4680 cell. And the advantage is clear to see. We've been able to give much more energy 5.3 kilowatt hour on the scooter, 9.1 on the bike. Because this is a new format, innovation, cutting edge 4680 format, so we can pack more energy, give more range and value proposition to the customer in lower pricing. So all of that advantage also starts coming in next quarter.
Let's get a couple of numbers. Then you mentioned motorbikes quite often, and I would love to look at one of those motorbikes. Could you tell us how is demand? What is the number of motorbikes are you looking at selling? What is your current capacity? Because we want to understand how do deliveries start flowing out from here on.
See, our capacity in our factory, Nigel, is fungible between scooters and motorbikes, and we have an installed capacity of about 1 million. And as we, we're now with, let's say, when we get to next quarter or so, we might expand that million beyond also to deal with the new volumes that will come in beyond that. The market interest is very high on our motorbikes. In fact, most of the motorbike market is actually in the non-tier 1, tier 2 cities. And our store expansion was actually not just for our scooters, but it's a foundation to enable much faster growth of electric motorbikes in India. And the 4,000 stores that we have are actually going to be a very strong lever for accelerating motorcycle penetration. And if you think of how the scooter market evolved, we started.
Bhavish, how many vehicles will you sell? How many motorbikes will you sell? We are trying to get a number out there. There's a big, shift that's happening. What's your target?
See, my targets, I don't want to put a target out there, Nigel, but I can just say that motorcycles will gain faster adoption in the market than scooters.
Okay, how many bookings have been made? If you could tell us that.
For electrification have already been laid.
Okay, how many bookings have been made? Let's not talk about future, but let's talk about what has happened so far. How many bookings have been made? How much advance have you received, or how much EOI have you received?
Again, we have not shared these numbers publicly.
Which is why we ask you this number.
No, interest is very, very strong. As you can see, you are asking me so many questions. So the interest is very strong. And with the store expansion, actually, the first question we got asked as we expanded these new stores was, "Aap bike kab la rahe ho?" And customers are really waiting for a good quality electric bike. And our bike, the Roadster X, actually builds on the Gen 3 platform. So it has all the advantages of the Gen 3, the Move OS 5, all the technologies that we've built start from motorbikes from day one.
All right, Bhavish, just to clear a couple of numbers out, your customer base is different and your shareholders base as well could be different. The shareholders want to know whether or not you said that within the next 4 to around 6 months, you will hit that 50,000 units per month. Is that correct? So that means sometime in the first half of next fiscal, you become EBITDA positive, correct?
See, we are aiming for doing that very quickly. Now, there are some variables which we control and there are some variables we don't control. So our product, the supply chain, the gross margins are all under control, our operating costs. But if the market is aggressive, we will, since we have the leading gross margin profile and vertically integrated manufacturing, we will be aggressive in responding to market. So that might have some impact on gross margins in the near term. So our strategy remains to increase penetration from a position of strength vis-a-vis products and manufacturing.
The commentary that has been directed at you by competitors and what you have said about competitors as well, it doesn't look like, the market will be any more forgiving. So chances are that maybe your EBITDA plans can be delayed because there is so much heating up in the market, literally.
You should see actually the way January has been for us. Despite the heating up of the market, we've actually regained #1 position while expanding margins. January margins grew from 21% to 26%, gross margins. And this is on the back of our fundamental technology and manufacturing strength. And we are, the gross margin will actually continue to improve as Gen 3 rolls out and as our 4680 cell comes into our vehicles. Now, none of our competition has this product, technology, manufacturing, integration strength. There is competition in the market. That's actually great for EVs because the more number of EVs that the customer is exposed to, their propensity to buy EVs goes up. And in the end, we benefit because we are the best positioned EV player in the market. So, बाकी सब लोग खेलेंगे, but फायदा हमें ही होगा long term में.
And what is the updated market share for the month of January? You said you regained #1 position. If you could give us that number.
Market share January was about 26%.
26%.
And target market share, target market share in scooter EVs is about 30 to 35%. That's where we believe once all
you get there by when? You get there by when?
Over the next couple of quarters, as the store expansion, as Gen 3, etc. stabilize, we are expecting to be at around a 30-35% market share.
quickly, what about service? People say that Nigel, Bhavish is telling you on TV that things are fine, but for us, we're having some problems. What is your data telling you? Service turnaround time is what?
See, our service turnaround time, which in October was 2.5 days, is now down to 1 day. And 1 day is better than the market, the industry average. So we are actually leading the industry on service timelines and service quality again. And this will only keep getting better. Our Gen 3 product actually has less than half the need for service than our Gen 2 product. So going ahead, the service excellence from our side will only improve.
All right. And the CCPA as well, you've given them all the information that they were seeking, is it? Or have they asked for more?
Yes, absolutely. No, we are cooperating fully, and they're looking at the whole industry as a whole to see how the industry's practices around customer service and customer support is evolving. And we are cooperating, and not just that, we are actually going over and beyond to share whatever needed to make sure customer experience is top-notch.
Okay,
Thank you.
All right, Bhavish, thanks a lot for joining in. We're going to track you on that profitability question. For the time being, you're saying what's in your hands. You're focusing on that. Gross margins have moved to 26% in January, which compares to around 20%. Sometime you hope to turn profitable in the next fiscal year. And on market share as well, you're ready to walk the talk and, in fact, take as much as on offer. And services, you're saying there's no problem out there. We'll track you at that. Thanks a lot for joining in and giving us all of those details, Bhavish.